Hi, welcome back to my channel. I hope you liked my last video with the kite fishing. It was a bit of one of those last minute videos which I put together. So I just thought I'd make another video for you guys because my next video that I'm going to be making is going to be another kite session. Hopefully all being well, because with the kite session you need to make sure that the wind is in the right direction, and the wind speed also is a factor that we have to take into consideration when we are kite fishing. My next session that I'm going to be doing is going to be kite fishing soon, hopefully all being well. And for the next session I am going to be actually using a 20 hook rig. Just thought I'd make a quick video with you guys just to show how I'm going to make this rig. You know, by no means am I a professional at making these rigs. It's just something how I'm going to be using when I go kite fishing. So I'm using £60. It's that leader line which I use. It's just normal, cheap, cheerful line. What I've done on this line is I've threaded up a crimp, then I put a bead, and then I put swivel, and then a bead, and then another crimp. There we go. So that's one. That's where one snood is going to go, right here. My snood that I'm going to be using is going to be £40 snood. Hook size down to your own preference, really. Although they do recommend using circle hooks, so at least if you do hook the fish, it stays on the, it stays. Because don't forget, when we're fishing, a few hundred yards out, we're not going to be striking in when we get a bite. We're just going to be leaving it there. So we're not going to be setting the hooks ourselves, so we need to make sure that if the fish can hook themselves and stay on the hook. Yeah, I think circle hooks are probably the future for that. So that's one. You need to do that 20 times. So here's one I made earlier. There we go, all done. Yeah, so that's 20. Once you've put them on to your line, on the other end, I put just like a swivel like this. And then you just got to space them out right. The way I usually crimp these down, so this is where my lead is going to go. And then what I do is I measure my snood hook lengths. My snood hook lengths usually be anything between 30 and 35 centimeters. My first crimp that I'm going to crimp down is going to be approximately just over 35 centimeters, just to make sure that the hook that I put over here will not be touching the lead, causing any tangles. So that is where you set your first crimp. Then what I tend to do is, once I've crimped this down, I'm just going to show you quickly the idea behind how I tie my rigs. So once that's crimped down, you obviously got your bead there, you got your swivel there, and then you got another bead in between that, and then this swivel. What I tend to do is I leave one hook length, so about 30 centimeters from this crimp to this crimp, and I crimp this down at 30 centimeters. The reason why I do that is I like to have this flowing, and the reason being is once I bait that up, fish comes, this is the idea behind it, picks my bait up, eats it, swallows it, swims away, and as it swims away, it's gonna hit that, and the idea is that's gonna set the hook. The lead's gonna go there 30 centimeters up, or 35 centimeters. Set this crimp another 30 centimeters, crimp down your second crimp, and then from here, two snoods, which is going to be this one and this one, don't tangle together and don't touch. And what I tend to do is I tend to give it approximately about 4 hook lengths. So I give it about 4 hook lengths, and then I crimp this down. Yeah, and then same thing, another 30-35 centimeters, depending on how much you want, and then you crimp your second one, which is here. So that one's sliding in between, and you just basically carry on that process all the way to the end, and you end up with a really long rig. When I'm talking long, I mean it's going to be really long, and that's how you do it. And the way I tie the hooks are, I use a knotless knot. There's loads of videos on YouTube on how to tie the knotless knot. I just use a circle hook, just tie the knotless knot on, and I usually leave a loop at the other end because I don't tie them directly to here. What I do is I just have them all looped up, and then I just do the loop to these, add them on. Or you can tie them on if you want, it's down to your own personal choice. But I find if you have hooks on these rigs, they can get quite messy, especially with that many hooks, and you don't want a massive tangle. This way I find it a lot more manageable. So I usually just tie the hooks down and put them onto cardboard. I'll just show you now actually. So this is how I have my hooks. Just tie them, just put them onto this cardboard, just put a little slit at the top, just tie them in all the way down, another slit at the bottom. So, and hooks are tied just like a very simple knotless knot, and as you can see the way it sits, quite aggressive. So idea is when the fish puts it in its mouth, you know, it swims away, and that's catching straight away. You know, I'm surprised how quick it's actually, you know, if I would just put it there, and if I just pull on this, straight away it's turning straight in. These hooks are very, very sharp. These are Sakuma ones that I'm using. Very, very sharp hooks, these. This is just going to be a short video. Thought I'd share with you guys what my plans are. So for the next kite fishing session that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be putting out 20 hooks. I'm going to tie this rig. Hopefully we'll get them 20 hooks out and we should be able to catch some cod, because cod season's just around the corner and I can't wait to get my lines wet. Unfortunately, I've not been able to get out fishing due to various other commitments. Work commitments, weather. It can get quite difficult to get out, especially when, you know, I'm roughly about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes away from the Holderness coast. But anyway guys, this is just going to be a short video. Just thought I'd quickly share with you guys my rig. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you for watching. Tight lines.